Okay, well, welcome, Phil. Thanks very much for agreeing to let us pick your brains
Pleasure.
and answer some of the questions that we've collated over the past month. And today's topic, this month's topic, is article marketing.
Yeah, it is.
So you're all prepared to.
I hope I can answer them.
well, let's hope you can answer one or two. But the first one to kick off is someone that wrote in and said, "What do you think is the most important thing to concentrate on when writing my first article?"
Yeah, okay, good question, and one we get asked quite a lot. So there's actually three elements that are really important to getting your article found and read by potential buyers. I would say the single most important is the headline,
Right.
because you've got to grab their attention, and they're not going to read the article if the headline is dull. So the single most important is the headline itself.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really good. Thanks. That's really good. And there's another question which leads on from that. Any tips about how to go about writing great headlines?
Yeah. Well, there's quite a lot to learn about headline writing and making sure that you use the right keywords and the right compelling words and emotional triggers and hypnotic trigger words that can be written into headlines to draw people in.
Right.
The best way is to use a piece of software. We've used it for about 5-6 years now. It's called Headline Creator Pro. And even though you may not end up with the exact headline that you'll run with, it gives you probably around 60 to 80 odd suggestions after you've answered a set number of questions. So you pump in the data for the questions that it's asking you for, and then the software goes off and generates between 60 and 80 headlines and automatically inserts the emotional trigger words and hypnotic trigger words that will make your headline more attractive and grab people's attention.
Okay. And do you just buy that as a piece of software or a license?
Yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll stick a link on the bottom of the blog, so we can arrange a bit of a special offer, and we'll stick a link on the blog for that.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, that sounds like 2 out of 2 so far. So there's one. I put two of the questions together here. Really, one was around how do I keep the readers interested, and the other was what do you mean by compelling copy, which I think are just two aspects of the same thing.
Yeah, okay. So let's cover, when I answered the first question, I talked about 3 points that were really important, and then I picked out the headline as the single most important.
Yes.
Let's talk about a bit about how the article looks as well. So, and this is it's an easy mistake to make, but actually it's a really easy one to correct as well.
Right.
So the article's got to look interesting. So if it's a big block of solid text, it's going to look difficult to read. So the content may be expert and incredibly valuable, but if it's one single block of text, then it's going to look difficult to read. And if it looks difficult to read, people will disengage pretty quickly.
Right.
So the best way to do it is to use a mixture of short paragraphs with a compelling subheadlines in between, a mixture of images in there as well that relate to what the particular paragraph or section is about, and break it up and make it look easy to read. And then write it as though you're talking to your friend down the pub. So blogs and articles should be chatty, because then they're engaging. They're much easier to read, and as soon as you've hooked somebody into the first few paragraphs, then you'll have them for the rest of the article. So make it easy to look at. So make it look easy to read, and then also make sure that you've written it in a conversational style. As if you're talking to your mates down the pub or a friend in a coffee shop.
Oh, right. Okay, that's interesting. I don't think I'd thought about that really. There's one here, a technical one. I don't really understand what you meant by keyword density. Could you explain that?
Yeah, okay. So again, another question we're asked quite a lot, because it sounds more complicated than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's about, so once you've researched your keyword and the phrase that that buyers are going to type into Google, to which your product or service is the answer, once you've researched that so that you know you're using the right term, then really we're just looking at the density of the number of times that exact word or phrase appears amongst the text.
So hold on, the exact word. So you can't switch the words over.
No. So let's give an example of something. So if you were working on Hugo Boss golf trousers, which is something else that's been referenced during this example, then you would have to use the exact string of Hugo Boss golf trousers. You couldn't use golf trousers by Hugo Boss. So Google is not going to pick that up. What it looks for is the single string of words. Obviously, if you've just got one word, then that's really easy to write in. But equally, don't put an S on it.
I was going to say, what about plurals?
Yeah, don't. So if it's singular, keep it singular. So that's another aspect to think about when you're doing your keyword research, because the hardest ones to write in is where the keyword is a question. Because you can soon run out of. You can write that into subheaders and what have you. The question is, how do I do X, Y, Z? But it's difficult to write that into the body of an article enough times to actually get the keyword density. Because often questions have 5, 6, 7, 8 words, and you need to get that exact string in. So I would tend to steer clear of questions because they're difficult to write into the body of an article. So to answer the question again, just to really sort of make sure that we've got the point understood, is we're looking for the exact string of keywords to exactly match the keyword research that you've done.
Right. Okay. And so the question was about keyword density. So that was that keyword appearing a certain number of times. Yes,
absolutely. So for every 100 words, it needs to be in there 2 to 5 times.
Okay, but the exact word?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So while we're talking, you alluded to sort of SEO. There's one here which I thought quite good. Any tips on getting my articles highly ranked by Google?
Oh yeah, the golden question.
Golden question, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not entirely sure I should give all the tips away here on the video, but no, joking aside. So once you've got your keyword density right, as long as you've done your research right, you'll have a really good chance of getting the article found by Google, because Google loves to present the answer to the question that's been asked of it in its search.
Right.
So if it was where do I buy Hugo Boss golf trousers, and the article is all about Hugo Boss golf trousers, the range, etc., then if you've written keyword density in there enough, then Google will start to rank that article as an authority article against that topic.
Right.
You really want it. Part of the getting it found is to where you put it, and there are better article sites than others. Try and get it in Associated Press, contact magazines. So for a golf article, you might contact Golf World, Golf Today, Golf Monthly, people like that, because they might print the article, but you may also be able to get it on their website. And Google will see a golf-related publisher's website as an authority site for golf. So therefore, then that's going to link back nicely to your article being about Hugo Boss golf trousers.
Oh, right. So let me just get that straight here. If you write an article and put it on another website, an authority website, Google will still search your article. It will still return your article. It won't just return the publishers.
Yeah, no, it will pick up, as long as it's well written, then it will pick up on your article. Your article will be the answer to that question, or one of the many answers to that question.
Okay.
So the best thing to do with this is to think about this as bigger than just one article. So if I was selling Hugo Boss golf trousers, then I need to be putting out multiple articles across sites that I know will publish them, or sites where I know I can get the article published. And there's a good directory. We refer to it in the guide.
Sure.
There's a good directory of sites that you can go to, and then you can also just research your own industry press, because they're always looking for content, and if you can provide some good quality advice for their readers, then there's a really good chance that you'll get it published. The other part is then making sure that the images that you use are also optimized. So we need to embed the keyword behind the image, and often call the title of the image when you save it on your hard drive. Embed the keywords in that, and then going into a little bit more detail. But the book will explain this in a bit more detail too, and certainly we've got other lessons that cover this. Is that you need the keyword to be what's called the alt tag behind the image. We'll probably cover that at another time. Okay. But if you're familiar with WordPress or one of those sort of web platforms, they will always ask for an image title, and then they'll ask for an image alt tag. And it's the alt tag actually that Google reads, and so it doesn't see the picture, it just sees the keywords.
Okay, well, that makes sense. It was a good one as well. How do I make sure I use the right keyword?
Yeah. I think we gave an example in the article itself about the difference between coaching and coaches.
That's right. Yes.
So the best thing to do is to go and search for it. Be your customer. Get into your customer's head for a while. Maybe do it in small chunks of 10-15 minutes. Ask friends what they would search for. Ask your customers what they search for to find you. Because when you're in a business, it's all too easy to get too close and not be able to see the wood for the trees. So some people can make the switch and get themselves in the customer's mindset. I'd probably, if you're going to try and do it yourself, I'd probably get out of the work environment, go to a coffee shop, go grab yourself a coffee, sit down in the corner, get out of your natural work environment, because everything that's around you in the work environment will keep you in the same state of mind. Get out the space, get somewhere, a hotel reception, lobby, something like that. Grab a coffee, sit down, and maybe start it by reading off some industry press, some customer-facing industry press. See how they write articles and see how they write it from a benefit point of view. So you can get yourself in the position of thinking as your customer will think. You've only got to ask a few of your customers, run a survey on SurveyMonkey or something like that, a couple of simple questions. What do you type in when you look for my service? Explain to me in 2 words what you think my service is. Ask simple surveys like that. SurveyMonkey, we'll put a link to that on this on the bottom of the blog too, because it's a free tool that can be really helpful in helping you get into your customer's mindset. So then once you've done that, finding the right keywords, you'll obviously spot the ones that stand out and the ones that are perhaps a little misleading. So as a coach, you may well think about people wanting to look for coaches, but actually if you did a Google search and you looked at what your customers said, then they're always going to look for coaching suppliers, and what have you. They're never going to look for coaches as an active phrase.
Okay, now that makes sense. So that was the right keyword. Now the next one, how do I know how many people are looking for a particular keyword? Okay,
yeah, so there's another golden question. We're going to give away some good advice here, but that's fine. So there's a part of Google called All in Title. It's actually a hidden part of Google. That allows you to search for the amount of competition that you've got around a specific keyword. It is quite complicated, and it's not complicated, but there is a set system to go through. So the best thing I would do is, and this isn't trying to give any cop out, but I'd book one of our business lunches with us, and we'll make sure that you go through, because keyword research is so important. It doesn't take long. A couple of hours will easily nail it. But if you're going to put time and effort into this kind of stuff, you need to know that you're pitching at the right goal. So if you book a business lunch with us, there'll be a link at the bottom of the page. Then we can sit down. We'll even buy you lunch, we can sit down, we can get the laptops out, we can make sure that your settings are all right, we can help you go through it and show you the principles of it the first time, and then once you've got it, and once we know that your settings on your laptop are right for the various searches that we'll show you how to do, then you can go away and do it over and over and over again many times.
Okay, that sounds good. And you get lunch.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're doing pretty well so far. So I'll see if the last couple are more tricky. There's one here which is amalgamation of quite a few actually. I got a bit lost when you talked about selling other people's products. Can you tell me how that works?
Okay, yeah, quite a common question again for business owners, because you get really stuck in it. Everybody does. It's human nature. You get really stuck in it and engaged with exactly what your business is.
Mm-hmm.
So a perfect example, in fact, on this morning or last night rather on the news, John Lewis came up announcing their massive growth and their employees' bonus.
Right.
The reason that John Lewis, I refer to them, is their business model is really clever. So they have all the high street stores and superstores, but they also make, in fact, more than half of their turnover comes from their online activity, and a massive proportion of their online activity is drawn by affiliates. So it's not actually then John Lewis selling the product. What John Lewis do is they allow people to market products that John Lewis sell. They allow them to act as an affiliate and market the product out on their behalf. So I might have a website talking about maybe office supplies and that sort of stuff.
Right.
And then I would have a link on my website to obviously all the things that I sell. But then I could go to John Lewis and talk about chairs and office furniture and other bits and pieces. So I could search the John Lewis site, sign up as an affiliate, and sell things on behalf of John Lewis. So when my customer comes to my site, they see all my products,
Right.
and then they also see a load of other products that I don't supply. But when they click on the link to buy it, they go through to John Lewis's site. John Lewis take the order, they take the money, they fulfill the order, they fulfill any guarantees that are in place, and I get a very small commission, or sometimes not a very small commission, sometimes quite an attractive commission for selling that. So typically John Lewis commissions run between 6, 10, 12%, depending upon what articles you sell. But if that's if that's £100 piece of furniture or whatever you, and you can lead people towards that, then multiple purchases a month off a product that you couldn't otherwise sell gives value to your clients, and also you make a nice little return off it.
Right. Okay. And that's automatic, is it? You don't, once you set it up.
Yeah,
you don't
absolutely.
have to send invoices and.
Yeah, absolutely. No, John Lewis as an affiliate, as the merchant account, deal with all the transaction. As an affiliate, you just get paid the commission.
Okay.
And again, it's something that runs and runs and runs.
Right.
So
Okay, that sounds good. I suspect we'll be returning to that question in future months. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think people, just from the tenure of what they were asking, people are very unfamiliar with that.
Oh yeah. Affiliate marketing is very big in America, and typically our sort of industry sector tends to follow America by 2 or 3 years or so, and I think it's starting to take off in the UK. But there's really not many people doing it at all. But it's a great opportunity to write an article about a product that you sell, that your own business sells, and then when you've got them on your website, you can be seen to be of greater help to the person by offering other closely associated products that you just earn a small commission off. And it's a really nice bit after a while, and you've done this a few times, the few pounds that you get as a commission can really add up into meaningful amounts each month.
Yeah, no, I can see that. That sounds good. Okay, I think we're coming to the end. There's one where you might have already answered it, to be honest. Where do I place my article to be seen?
Yeah, so there's a lot of places. The guide really takes you through the key places.
Right.
So for a specific business, I'd say the industry press, as we've talked about before. But then the guide's going to run you through the other main article sites. that will definitely publish your site and already get considerable traffic and are seen by Google as authority sites to answer people's search questions.
Okay, great. Well, you've handled those very well. Thanks for that. It is going to be the first in a line of interviews, so I'm sure I'll be able to find more questions next month.
Yeah, bring them on. Make them more complicated.
Okay, so just thanks for that. And one last tip before we close. On the principle of article marketing, not life. So just one last tip you'd like to give people.
The golden rule is the headline, or the golden rules. The headline, the keywords, making the article look attractive. Write it as though you're talking to your friend down the pub. Write it in short sentences, short paragraphs. Split it up with subheaders. Have some nice, closely associated images that match the paragraph or the chapter of your article, so that the writing and the image complement each other, and then you'll end up with a really attractive article that will lead to clicks at the bottom that will take them to your site.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Phil. Now, for one final aspect, I know that you always like to give a bonus. So you've given your last tip. So what about one more? What about digging those memory cells? And what's the last thing you'd like to leave with? Leave the people watching this.
Okay, so it's like the power of a good advert. You always need to have a good call to action. So close your article with a really compelling short sentence or paragraph around your call to action, and give them a command. Tell people to do something definite. You want them from the article to click to your website, and you want to give them a reason to do that. There needs to be a reason to read on. So have a strong link at the bottom of the article that takes them to your website, and give them a benefit of reading more, a benefit of coming to your website. So don't leave it as a call me or a drop me a line or something like that, because that's really pretty weak, and it puts the dependency all on the reader. So you give them a more compelling, claim a free ebook, click here to go to our website.
Okay.
Something like that that's much more compelling will give them a reason to click on. And then of course you've got them on the website, and your website should be built well enough then to handle all the traffic from there on in.
Okay, that's good. Thanks very much for the bonus.
No problem. No problem. Cheers, Alan.
Thanks, Phil.